Hello everybody, thank you very much for joining today. My name's Max Berry and as you can see I'm here at MJ Warner Volkswagen in Buntingford, specifically Hertfordshire, where today we're going to be driving some rather exciting cars. I cannot wait for this. Let's get cracking. Okay, so this is the first of our three cars today. It is the VW Arteon R line, of course. So let's go out and see what it's like. Now you might be thinking this is a replacement for the CC, a new updated version, but it isn't. This is a brand new model from VW. This is a brand new car, appealing to a slightly different user. And thankfully, this one I have here is the R line, which means you can bang it down to second and do this. Now being the R-Line, this has a 2-litre TDI producing 240 brake horsepower, delivering it to all four wheels. 0 to 60 is dealt with in 6.5 seconds, and the top speed is limited to 152 miles an hour. It is so smooth, the gearbox is so nice. DSG system, very similar to the one you find in the Golf R, and I'm glad it's in here. You feel so in control with the paddles just at your fingertips. You can reach and grab them if you need them, and if you don't, you can let the gearbox sort itself out. Almost PlayStation-like, the gearbox, but of course in this, if you hit a tree, you can't hit restart. And yet, when we reach a build-up area like we have now, put it into automatic, and it's a very, very relaxing place to be. With what this car is trying to be, it has to have a good sense of quality, and everything in here does. Sometimes you want it to quieten down and be a little bit more mature, like me. Hey, you have good roads though around it, don't you?
Good fuel in it, because normally Rob there's not very much fuel in his cars.
85 miles.
Ah, that's good.
It's like one of those aggressive businessmen who can actually be quite nice to their kids when they get home, but in the day roast the hell out of one of their employees. That's what it is. It can be angry and it can be nice. Here, firing an employee at a board meeting in front of everyone, telling him to go home, and then now he's got home. He's made dinner for everyone. This is a competitor for big Audis, this car, it really is. It's got presence, I think it's got great style. This is right on the mark of where performance meets practicality. It's brilliant. Now don't get me wrong, the Arteon was a great car, but it's now time for the main event. This is the Golf R. It's got 4 exhausts. Welcome everybody to the Golf R, and let's get one thing straight from the off. It is fast. Unlawfully fast. And loud. All the things you always wanted a Golf to be. This is exactly what it is. Just over 300 brake, beautiful DSG gearbox right here with the flappy paddles, 4-wheel drive. Don't get me wrong, the GTI is a brilliant car. We all love the GTI, but this is like the big steroid brother. This is the one you want. It's a bit like when Apple released the iPhone 5 after the 4S. Of course everyone complained saying Apple products are so expensive. The 5 was worth the money because it had the fingerprint scanner. This R is worth the money over the GTI because it's got 4-wheel drive. It's got that mad exhaust that makes you feel like you might have just driven over a dog. Bear in mind, this one I've got here does have the titanium sports exhaust. And if you listen closely, it farts tremendously in between gear changes, really. I'm glad about that. I really want one now as well. Just shy of 40 grand, it's a fairly expensive toy, but it's not just a toy. The thing is, you can have a Golf Art to live with. You come into a built-up area like we are now, where the speed limit is 30 miles an hour, which I'm sticking to rather rigorously, and everything's fine. If I engage eco or comfort mode, the exhaust quieten down, you lose the bass throaty throb, no harder to drive than a standard Golf. The only question I had with the Golf R before I hopped in it was, who is going to say no? I don't want to spend my £35,000 on a BMW M135i or an AMG A45 Merc or a Ford Focus RS. I want to spend it on a Golf which aesthetically doesn't have a huge amount to shout about. It's got a little wing on the rear, a little splitter at the front, and of course the 4 exhausts. Making a Hot Wheels car like some of the competitors of this one are isn't overly difficult. If you look at the new Civic Type R, I think it's got far too many bits on it. It just looks overworked. Whereas the R, it's simple. In many ways, keeping the exterior understated is a harder trick to pull off. The pantomime and drama is in the performance. You don't need to drive around showing everyone it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And think of it this way, if you're in the A45, you're going to pull up at some traffic lights and people in their courses are going to race you. That thing rides rough on the road all the time, you can't turn it off. But when you just want to drive around and not get out with a sore back at the end, this is the one to go for. I'd spend my £35,000 on this over any of the alternatives because it doesn't have to be annoying and noisy and loud all of the time. You can turn it all down when you need to. Once you've found an open road, as I have now, you can put it back into race mode, drop it down through the gears. Until it's bonkers, even then, I wouldn't have changed down to second, and it decided second gear was the gear we should have used. Other hot hatches on the market, what they are those dogs you see in the park who clearly want to bite your face. That's all they want to do. Whereas the Golf is one of those more sophisticated dogs who, don't get me wrong, can bite a criminal's testes off when he needs to, but can also look after the kids for half an hour in the evening. I want a dog like that. Having turned around, I realised there was one more feature on the R left to explore. So, if we pull over, we can try out the launch control. I reckon it needs testing. Obviously, before you can engage launch control, there's some things you need to do. What was it again?
Press mode, make sure it's in race.
Right,
so
race is on.
Turn off the stop-start, so you can turn
it off.
And then traction control, press it off, hold that. Then you drop it down into sport. Put your foot on the revs. Launch car activated.
It's like evil. Jesus Christ. And relax.
Yeah.
60 to 80 just off. It didn't even happen. It suddenly all comes together. Looked like a rogue pancake suddenly burned. The launch control works. That's the main thing we've found out. This guy's probably doing the same with us, to be fair.
Yeah, launch control in this transit.
Oh, sorry. Oh, hang on. Hello?
What's that for, mate?
It's a little camera.
Yeah, I guess that.
Yeah.
I wonder why it was there.
Oh, right, yeah, no, we're making, I'm making a video, so yeah.
Right, mate. No problem.
See you later. Jesus. What manner of things has happened to... Oh, it's still...
Launch control.
No. That is not... What did he actually want to say then? I didn't really understand.
No idea.
So, the Golf R then. Well, it may not be quite as shouty aesthetically as some of its rivals, but it could certainly put up a fight in terms of loudness when it needed to. All the time I have to tell yourself you're in a Golf still. That's the thing that's so amazing. And to be honest, that's the reason I love it. It's an absolute bundle of fun when you want it to be, and when you don't, it isn't. And last but not least in our VW trio today is the Volkswagen T Rock. Just like the Arteon, this is a brand new model from VW. It is the little sister, if you like, of the Tiguan, but still, it's a brand new car outright. So let's go out and see what it's like. So the T Rock then, what is it all about? This one I have here is the SEL model, which has a 2-litre TDI, 6-speed gearbox, which is lovely, really clicks into gear and is very smooth. Something that's really refreshing with the T-Roc actually is how, although you're driving an SUV, you feel like you're driving a car. When you get it out on a road like this, although it's also very, very comfortable, it's firm and it's sharp and it holds its shape. Sometimes SUVs can feel a little bit Play-Doh-like and they sort of melt in the corners and you find it wallowing from side to side. Yes, it's brilliant if you can fit all your kids in the car, but sometimes because of the added functionality, it actually loses the excitement. Whereas the T-Roc, being a little bit smaller, having a slightly shorter and narrower chassis, really holds its weight. It's very agile. Mighty. This weather has come out of nowhere, hasn't it? So we've come from the rural lanes of Hertfordshire, now we are coming into the town of Buntingford. A big SUV can be quite a drama to get around in tight spaces, whereas here, double mini roundabout, no worries. More than able to soak up urban life, which is a definite need for a mini SUV like this. I've got great visibility as well, which is obviously a key. The adaptive cruise control sensor, that also will stop you having a low speed accident. In fact, it did stop me earlier reversing the Golf R into a wall. So I found its uses today. With this one, obviously, I've got the LED display. It's a really engaging way of seeing the information in front of you. The interior is a lovely collection of plastics. The seats you can see behind me as well. We've got the cream leather with this one, which is really nice. If I change down to third and floor it, it has some decent pull. It makes a good noise as well, which is good. As with most SUVs these days, it has an all-terrain response mode, which you can flick through snow, dirt, whatever it might be. Right on time, we have arrived at a little Ford. And all the time, even when you do floor it, you feel safe. It's exciting to drive, and there's still all the practicality, which is exactly what you're after, really. So that concludes a hard day's VW testing. Rather obviously, my car of the day was the Golf R, 300 horsepower in a Golf. What's not to love? The gearbox, the steering, it's all brilliant. The launch control. So I'd say get out and drive one. Just have a go in one. They're so much fun. But for now, thank you to MJ Warner Volkswagen and Rob Walker for inviting me. I'll be back with another video very soon. But for now, this is a Golf R. My name's Max Berry, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.